Okay, should be live now. Joseph, you're unmuted in Discord. Oh yeah, but it's okay. I'll have you turned down for some reason. I can hear you right now. Yeah. Yeah. Let's use the chat. Okay, perfect. And let me check it out also. I'll just on the stream on my phone, see if it works. But this software is really a lifesaver here. Let me put myself here just for the intro, because I'm the okay, works. Hi everyone, we are live everywhere, I believe. Welcome to another week's BaconDAO Community Call. This has been months now since we've been doing this. Yeah, so every Sunday we have a call live everywhere across YouTube, Twitter, Discord. We try to get TikTok, but it is a little difficult. But yeah, so this week we are using a new software called StreamYard, and this allows me to switch a bunch of screens, but without using OBS. It's very simple to set up, and as you can see over where is it? Over here, right? We have Viper and Luke, who are going to be the other presenters today. So each one of us can screen share, and they can have their avatars. So they have the talking head, even if they don't have their cam. So this software has been a lifesaver for this kind of talks we want to do, because it's like OBS and other streams work well if you have just like one or two consistent hosts. But if you have different people all sharing screen and talking heads and a lot of scenes, yeah, like I've been really trying to explore a cleaner setup, and I'm really lucky that we found this. And big shout out to Crypto Vila. I did an interview on his channel this week, and we used this, and it just clicked for me. Like I think all of the crypto talk shows, they use this. So just in case you're wondering. But yeah, welcome everyone. Let's get started. This week, our topics are going to be Viper's presentation on what he's seeing right now, which is some NFT plays, as well as any coverage on the BSC land. We have Luke covering Bitcoin dominance, other gems he sees. And then I will do a bit of TA on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, also Bitcoin dominance, overall Altseason. And then we'll do a lot of Q&As through DAO Ideas, events chat, and also the YouTube comments. And maybe Twitter, but Twitter, we don't really get anything there. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So first off, let me bring Viper. If you don't want to share screen, let's just do kind of...
I'll share screen.
Sure, if you have something.
I was just going to share the website and just the pictures of things.
Great. Yeah, if you want to turn on your share screen, then I'll pop your screen on the thing, and then I'll be on the side.
Perfect. I think it's this screen.
Okay, I see it. Here we go.
You see the Degen Ape?
Yep.
Okay, cool. What's up, guys? So, as I always mention, you should really follow the hype. The way I learned that at an early stage of crypto was because I didn't follow the hype of Doge when it was less than a cent. I learned that sometimes you just have to follow the hype. And so, truth be told, I've never been a fan of NFTs. I have been always a fan of NFTs for certain utilities, such as concert tickets, or video game skins like CS:GO and stuff like that. I think that's really unique and needed. But I've never understood spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on essentially JPEGs, which I understand the concept of NFTs. Obviously, it's verifiable art on the blockchain, and I think that it's cool. And I don't think that maybe there is somewhat of a bubble that's waiting to be burst, but I don't think it's ever going away. And so I figured I would at least tell you kind of where I am with NFTs mentally wise. And so that being said, I have lately been trying to join the hype just because I know a lot of friends making a lot of money on NFTs. So I tried to get into a few projects on ETH, and it is a freaking gas war. I'm talking about people spending 2 ETH on gas alone when the mint price is like 0.05 ETH. It's absolutely insane. It's I'm hoping gas prices once ETH 2.0 comes out in 2080, this will all be solved. But so that was definitely a turnoff for me, is not only being time rugged by the devs promising a certain time and then say, oh, sorry for delay, and then constantly trying to mint those tokens. And so not only that, but it's just expensive. So I've failed a few times, but I finally got into one, and that was DGen Ape Academy. Now, don't get me wrong, I was time rugged 4 times. They fail launched. They failed their launch 4 freaking times, and luckily I finally got in. And what I was using, actually, I should mention it. There's like an auto refresher extension that you can get on Google Chrome, and you can put how many seconds you want to auto refresh, because you have to refresh the website to know. And my finger was getting tired refreshing, so that helped me a lot. But once I got on there, I minted about 11. Each one was about 6 Sol, which each Sol is like $45 each, I think, right now. So about $250 each. And so it was definitely an investment, but it actually paid off. If you see right here, I've already sold 5 out of my 11 for a total of $15,000, and I still have a few rare ones, actually. I have, and if you don't know, Salon Art is the marketplace on Solana.
Okay.
And so this is a kind of the go-to place to sell NFTs. And so it is a little buggy, but as you can see, I have some listed, which if you're interested, please buy it. But so it worked out. And so this is the result of me following the hype. And sure, it's not always going to work out in your favor, but luckily with Solana, it did. Now, I will also mention this. I've never been the biggest fan of Solana, but I actually like some element of it. Now, although it's not a fork of ETH like all the other blockchains like BSC and KCC, etc., it's unique. Number one, that it has 50,000 transactions per second, so it's very fast. Transaction fees are very minimal. But one thing that I realized when minting, and this is very, very bullish for Solana, is the fact that when you place a transaction, you don't dictate what gas and way you use. So everyone's kind of, if I understand it correctly, on an equal playing field for the most part. It's kind of a matter of who clicks first. So I really like that. I don't, because on BSC, ETH, and all the other blockchains, it's a freaking gas war, especially BSC. So I thought that was really cool. And as you can see, even when NFT projects fail multiple times, they still are very successful. Just to give you an idea, there were 10,000 apes. They all minted in 8 minutes, and that's resulting in $2.5 million in sales in 8 minutes. Pretty good, if I don't say so myself. And so that was just an update on me following the hype and it working out. Once again, it's not always the case. I will definitely try it again, but for me, it has to be something hyped. There's a trend right now where some people are buying NFT projects that previously launched in 2018 and then flipping them. And sure, you can see those rocks, the ETH rocks or whatever. Now there's like these cars being minted and sold. It's insane. And
Wait,
so
cards or cars?
Cars. And let me see what the name
Fuck?
is.
That's the
Yeah.
ETH rocks were stupid.
Yeah,
They're so dumb.
They don't even look good. Here, actually,
They are literally just rocks with colored borders.
So actually,
they're Lambos. No, please no. Oh my god, what the
and
hell is
actually,
this?
one of my friends just sold the Satoshi for $15,000. So
Jesus.
this is very. I mean, come on. I mean, I can make this website. I mean, it's kind of insane what.
Yeah.
So clearly, there's somewhat of a bubble. And you can see the art wasn't even that great. Now on these, they look cool, right? A lot of thought was put into it. And you can see on the rarities. So that was an update on that. The other update I want to go over, which I planned to go over in the educational call last week, but I actually ended up not having time at the end. There's this famous sniper called BD, and this is a little campfire story about him, and it won't take too long. But
Okay.
this is on BSC, and there's this famous sniper called BD. This man is so fast in sniping that he's actually rumored to be a validator. Now you may be wondering why.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
this guy. And so it's very, very, very important to understand, because I'll also go over how to find what he's trying to ape into. But this guy is so fast that he's actually rumored to be a validator. Now that's a rumor, and as you know, it's a pseudonymous, so we don't truly know his identity. But this is how fast this man is, and his bot is so fast, and his nodes are so fast that he gets into sniping within the same block of the liquidity being added. Now, this is a problem because every time you see a project launching and you see a huge buy order for like 60,000 or 100,000, sometimes even $300,000 as a first buy, that's BD. And what he does is he eats up 80% of the liquidity, and the next hour it's a dump fest. He just starts dumping and dumping. And this man makes millions and millions of dollars a day. You can track his wallet. Now, his type of bot is called a contract spam bot. So essentially, it's a different type of bot. It doesn't listen to the mempool for liquidity. Instead, it just spams transactions. And so it's a little expensive, but for a whale like him, he doesn't care. And it'll just keep sending transactions until it goes through. And he clearly has a team of auditors to look at the code for anti-snipe code and stuff like that. So this guy knows what he's doing. He also has an anti-honeypot function where it'll test in the same exact transaction if he can buy and sell, and then if it can, his transaction will go through as the first purchase. So this guy is insanely overpowered. That's why a lot of anti-bot measures have been implemented. Now, why is this important to you guys? Not only so that you don't get dumped on, but it's also important to understand the kind of what's going on in the background for all these new contracts, because obviously you have to be innovative and think of anti-bot code and ways around it. And I hate this excuse from these devs saying, oh yeah, we're fair launching, we're not going to release contract until we launch, just to avoid bots. That doesn't do anything. We find them. I find them myself. I can find the contract most of the time myself without you telling me. So that doesn't actually do that. But it's important to understand kind of what's happening in the background and why a lot of these projects are failing. So a big tip that you need to really consider is look at what anti-bot measures are in place for the launches. The most important one to consider is the max buy. If there is no max transaction, BD will be there and he will destroy your gains. So make sure there's at least a max buy. Now there's other factors as well. Max sell, if there's a cooldown, if there's a tax on the first few blocks, a lot of those you can go around. But max buy is by far one of the most important factors. So that's definitely something that you should always consider. Yeah, that's all I have for this week, Dennis.
Awesome. I think that's really good insight because we're also bridging to BSC, right? And then I have a question. Like, so what kind of so-called launches do he bought? Like, are they IDOs or direct listings?
All the above. So like most of the time, when it's a IDO, the listing price is the exact same price as the pre-sale price. And so if you're the first purchase, you can get at the IDO price. And so he's not concerned about not being able to get into the pre-sale, because if he's the first purchase, so he can't be dumped on basically, unless there's private sailors who get their tokens before him. But he wouldn't care after that, because if he eats up 80% of liquidity, because I also should mention he has 2,000 wallets and they all work together with his one code. So if you put that's why even max transaction doesn't really stop him as well, because if you say max
Max transaction per wallet, and
per
you
wallet.
just do like 1,000 wallets in one
Exactly.
transaction. Okay.
And they all sell at the same time too. So like, this guy's deadly, and I'm hoping CZ will one day listen and destroy this
Maybe
guy.
it's just
But
Binance. Who knows?
yeah, well, I mean,
If they're making millions of dollars a day,
millions. I'm not even kidding.
that's a lot.
And
That's
every
an
single
operation.
dump you've ever heard of, like, did you ever hear the refinable dump?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. He's literally behind every single dump. It's insane. So it's a little concerning, but what are you gonna do beside? That's why there are a lot of other ways around it, but like, for example, what I've suggested to some devs that I know who wanted to make a coin, and they asked me about these anti-snipe measures. I told them really the only thing I can think of that would stop him are things like, instead of adding their token and BNB as liquidity, add it as their token and BUSD, so the sniping is a little harder. And also to keep the contract, and of course it requires a trusted team, but keep the contract unverified until after launch, because if it's verified, he can see what anti-snipe measures you have in it. And so if you tax the first 5 blocks, he will know, and he just puts delay 6 blocks. But if he doesn't know, because don't get me wrong, he gets wrecked sometimes. There was one time he got wrecked for like $200,000, but he doesn't care. He makes millions a day. So, yeah.
Good thoughts. Already some things I can. Will you just recommend it? I know a couple of things we should definitely do for Bacon. Let's talk offline about that, and also let's talk together with our launch partners.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks for all of that, Viper. Really helpful. Next up, we have Luke, who is the other presenter today. Luke, if you have whatever information you'd like to have, or do you want to share screen right away? I'll bring up your screen.
Are we starting with news?
Yeah, let's start with news, and then we'll do dominance together and talk about gems and whatnot.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Let me know when you're showing.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. How's it going, guys? A little bit of L2 news this week. Is out of scale, actually, which is a pre-sale I think we participated in around this time last year. And they currently have 6 applications that are going to be launching, I think, towards the end of this month or the beginning of next month. They all kind of vary. I'll just go through them here real quick. There's Boot Finance. Sorry, right here. There's Boot Finance, which is a liquidity protocol, which will help other protocols with swaps and other core building blocks needed for AMM functionality. So that's the first application that's going to be launching. The second is Cove. Yep. And Cove is it's kind of a platform for paper trading where the top performers are rewarded for their ability. And it says something about it rewards investors with jobs and direct payments based on their performance. So if you're a really good trader, I think this is something to look into maybe. Next up, we have Curio DAO. Curio is a platform for tokenizing real-world assets, which is something to be bullish on, but I currently, from my experience, I haven't seen anyone do this well yet, where they tokenize real-world assets. So when it comes to this kind of tokenization, I've kind of stayed out until there has been someone who's done it successfully. And so far, I've not seen anyone do that. Going up next, we have Human Protocol. Human is a hybrid framework used for decentralized marketplaces. I haven't looked too much into this one.
I saw they did I think Human did a sale on CoinList like recently.
I think that lines up with this too. Here, I can maybe go to their website.
Yeah, that's the one. Pretty sure they launched on CoinList, which is Scale also launched on CoinList, right? So
yeah. Yeah, I haven't looked too much into Human specifically, but yeah, I think it's mainly for NFT. No, for decentralized marketplaces. So, yeah. Anyways, let's just keep this going rather.
sure.
And then Ivy. Ivy, I think, is kind of unique out of all these. Ivy lets users trade NFTs without the need for a NFT marketplace. Instead, Ivy lets users transfer their NFTs through QR codes, and yes, and then that will be needed for their swaps rather than a marketplace. And I thought this was kind of more of a pretty innovative idea for over-the-counter swaps, which we kind of often see in NFTs rather than just OpenSea and whatnot. So I think this would be one to possibly keep an eye on out of these. But for now, I'm kind of still sitting back, of course, and just watching how Scale, because I don't own any Scale. I haven't been on their network, so I'm kind of sitting back and I'm still evaluating all this. So anyways, but Ivy's one that I'm interested in. And then Mind is another one that I'm interested in, which is a decentralized social networking platform. It rewards users with Mind, and so far they have over 4,000 million users registered. And they quote unquote want to take back the internet, end quote. So I'm kind of not anticipating something big from, but I hope they can turn out something cool, because I think a decentralized social networking platform is kind of what's needed in crypto next. And I think we see talks about it a lot with like Aave and Twitter and whatnot. And I just kind of fail to see how Ethereum can host a social networking platform at this current stage. So I'm kind of hoping for something to come of Near. Anyways.
Oh, so this is going to be on Near?
Oh, my bad. No, Near was my next. Mine's is still on Scale. My bad.
Okay.
So everything is still on Scale.
Yeah.
That's my other news later on.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
So yeah, because of the scaling possibilities that Scale presents, I think Mind is better suited for an L1 or an L2 like Scale rather than Ethereum, because of the gas fees and whatnot. So I'm hoping something comes of Near. But as for now, I'm still waiting and seeing how these launches go. I don't need to be in the first few launches of these tokens. I think I can still wait to see how the ecosystem develops. That's my L2 news anyways. The next bit of news I have is Synchrony. And Synchrony is a copy trading platform on Solana. And similarly how you had your leverage trading Mango Markets protocol play, I think we can see a lot of the same use case for Solana, where this would be a perfect use case for Solana's fast transaction times and the other possibilities that it has. So we've had Alpha Finance on
these, right?
Yeah, on Ethereum, but the user still had to grunt a lot of the gas fees. So if I was just copying you on Alpha, then I would, and if I was the only one in your pool, and if you made a swap with a $30 gas fee, then I would have to grunt that entire gas fee. Where on Solana, that gas fee was very negligible. So we see that same use case with the leverage trading with the negligible fees. I think this can also be brought over to. I think this copy trading can also be a good use case for Solana and its future use case. So I think this is something to watch out for also.
Yep. I haven't seen actual copy trading work well on ETH. There are projects for that, but I don't think they're live. Not like live copy trade. You have to, you type in wallet you want to copy, and then it like it looks up their historical trades, and then you like pick a time that you want to do the same kind of trades. So it's similar to, from what I looked at, like Alpha and Dexa network. It's like it's basically the same as you looking up their portfolio and then buying what they have, which is, yeah, I don't know if that's copy trading.
And that's Synchrony as you're talking about?
No, that's
okay.
The stuff I looked on ETH. I haven't seen this one yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so if something on Solana, because it's cheaper and faster, like literally the fees are negligible and it's can be real time, then perhaps if they're able to do, like, if I make a trade on Solana, like Serum, then if everyone that's following me makes the same trade at the next block, that would be super cool. Automatically, yeah, without like, looking up later on and then like copy after.
Yeah, and it is coined as copy trading. It's not mirror trading. So it there might be that delay also.
I see. So that's okay.
Bit of a vocabulary term right there.
I didn't think that was different, but okay, that's good too.
I don't know if every place kind of has their own terms for whatnot. So So when it comes to copy trading, I don't know if it's mirror trading exactly, or if it's, you can see what swaps I've made, and then you can come in, a couple hours later and then execute the same swaps that I made. So, yeah, definitely I'll look into this one a bit more, but I think this is something to watch out for, especially if it's mirror trading.
Yeah, if it's mirror trading, it would be really cool because it would be a new use case that wasn't possible before.
Yes. So yeah, I'll look more into this one.
Perfect.
And yeah, so the next piece of news I have is built on Near. So Octopus is or Octopus Network, I should say, is a how do I want to explain it? It's a way to make apps or dApps interoperable with each other across different chains and ecosystems. Without the use of a zero layer, or like which would be Kusama, Polkadot, or Atom. So essentially, what Octopus is trying to do is they're trying to, let me see if I can bring up a graphic here. They're trying to make it so specific apps can talk to one another and lend liquidity to one another, essentially to help meet the liquidity demand in new ecosystems. Because oftentimes when we see new ecosystems emerge, such as Near, such as Polkadot, probably Polygon, and a ton of other ecosystems, they do not have the liquidity to for their dexes and whatnots to be functional at the same levels that Uniswap is at.
Yep.
So you might have to take a bit of a hit when it comes to your slippage on the dexes, or if you take out a loan, you might have a super high APR because you're taking out so much relative to the actual size of the pool.
Yep.
So with this technology, essentially, if you have an illiquid protocol, you could link it to Octopus, and then you can essentially borrow liquidity from other protocols. So if you only have $100,000 in your protocol, you could essentially link your protocol to Uniswap, and then you can borrow liquidity from Uniswap as your users start to use up all your liquidity. So So when with Near, their main DEX is Reef Finance,
Right.
and they currently don't have. I think they only have $20 million locked, or no, my bad. I think they only have $2 million locked in their protocol. And so this would ultimately fix that issue, as this would make it Near interoperable with other ecosystems such as Polygon, Ethereum, Polkadot, and pretty much any other network that can be connected. I don't know if Solana can be connected. Is this
well, it says they support IBC, right, blockchain communication. So that's Cosmos protocol, but Polkadot uses it, Kusama, Ethereum, Cosmos, and with those, of course, you can connect to Bitcoin because like they all have bridges there. I don't think Solana is though. Not yet. Definitely on their roadmap, I would say. Yeah, that's okay. So just I guess one question. So let's say Reef only has 2 million in total value lock, and most of that will probably be in the major coin pairs. When they borrow liquidity from say Uniswap, is it just the same pairs? So maybe they have like Near USD to Near ETH. They would borrow from Wrap ETH and USDT pool from Uniswap, or is it like just everything?
I don't know. I'm still looking into this protocol, to be quite frank. I thought this was a really interesting use case, and I'm still kind of fleshing out exactly all the details. So when it comes to that, I don't know the exact specifics. I'm still kind of researching their IDO and whatnot, but I think it's going to be kind of like how you just described. Like they're going to take the liquidity from the same pools, because otherwise it would affect Uniswap's pools too much, right? So, and then there would be kind of arbitrages.
So they're kind of so they say they're a sidechain network, which is at a pretty applicable level right now. That's kind of like a bridge, right? So you can already, like, bridges right now work with ERC20s. So technically speaking, you could bridge like Uniswap V2 LP tokens to through the Octopus bridge to like Near Reef LP tokens, and then like do a 1-to-1 swap. So like on this side you mint the LP tokens, and then the LP tokens, so like for the same project pool, you take liquidity from Uniswap, put it onto Reef. But it's very application specific, because only the Uniswap protocol V2 uses, V1 and V2 use ERC20s, V3 use NFTs. So then you have to have another bridge supporting specifically that NFT, right? And then if you want to bridge, let's say Uniswap V3 to Reef V2, then it's kind of impossible, because it's like, well, on one side you deposit an NFT, on the other side you mint the ERC20. So that's kind of the problem they're trying to tackle is application specific bridges / sidechains.
When it came to just the Uniswap example, I don't think they have plans to incorporate Uniswap just yet. But that was just kind of more of a basic example. So I think when it comes to like lending protocols, it would be much more straightforward.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because like wouldn't the liquidity, like there's no pairs, right? So the liquidity would just have to transfer from the lending protocol to the other.
Okay, so
am I wrong on that, or
no? I mean, I see what you mean. So let's say you have like Aave, and then Aave is on Ethereum, BSC, Polygon. Let's say they're also on Near, and then the Near side only has 2 million total USD to be borrowed. But on the Ethereum side, you have a lot. So then within that one protocol, like you don't have to pick anymore. It's just kind of one total pool, so that the near side can also use the available USD to be borrowed from the ETH side and the Polygon side. That works. So then it's like within this, it kind of has to be the same project borrowing from its own liquidity pools from another chain, most likely ETH. That would make sense. So it really depends on, and it is near, so they have a solid, I'm sure a solid list of DeFi protocols that want to. Yeah, if you click, I mean, Octopus, they've near. Okay, they're partnered with Solana, so probably they also have Solana then.
Yeah, they have a pretty good, strong partners, I think, for what they're trying to accomplish.
Nice. And yeah, I'm sure like because near is EVM, so when they come up, there will be likely some DeFi protocols that will be on there, right? Okay.
And then
Cool.
just I think this is a highly anticipated launch. Their Twitter handle has 11 million, or no, not 11 million, 11,000 followers.
Yeah.
And we can see the top centralized exchange, the withdrawals and deposits. We can see across the board there's way more withdrawals for Near than there is deposits. So I'm kind of thinking that this is a highly anticipated launch. And I think it's something that I want to get into, but I'm still trying to figure out what's a good price that I'm willing to buy up to and whatnot. There's a few things I don't like about Octopus, though, that I would like to talk about just real quick.
Yeah.
And their tokenomics, I think, are a little weak. When it comes to the allocation that's given to the allocation that's given to everybody else and not investors, such as venture capitals and seed investors and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think there's only 7% available through IDO and withdrawal. I mean, airdrops in the beginning. So there should be kind of a high.
Do they have a lot of liquidity mining?
No, I think it's there. It's mainly for security on their network. You have to stake to run a node on their network, and then I think you earn incentives through that.
Sure. Upchain rewards 15%. Okay. Foundation 10, strategic advisor 5, airdrop 5. Team's kind of big, 24.
Yeah.
Seed is also kind of big. Yeah. So their sales, you have 6% angel, 5% initial security. That's like finding some validators early on, just giving it to them so that they're staked. So you have like total like 40% that's in seed, private, angels, delegated partners or validated partners. Yeah, that's kind of big. It would be ideal if the app chain rewards were larger.
Yeah, so I don't think the tokenomics are super ideal, but it is fixed at 100 million. And I think in the text I sent you last night, I said, I think if I can get in under $3, then I think this would be a pretty good deal. What's
the launch price?
There is no launch price. It depends on how many people are.
Fixed at 100 million. And do you have like the vesting for tokenomics?
I don't think there is a vesting. I looked a decent amount and I couldn't find much of a vesting period. There is a vesting.
Otherwise, it's going to be pretty weird. So I'm sure the team, app chain rewards, and strategic. Yeah, there better be vesting. Otherwise, it's weird. Probably just not public. That's what I would say. Yeah, it says it's over 5 years. Right?
I think that was my bad.
That's the incentivized upcoming foundation, 30% total supply we use incentivized upcoming. Octopus community contributors, 24% reward the core team over 5 years. Okay. So core team is 5 years. That's pretty good. That kind of justifies the 24%. If you scroll down a little bit more,
Yep.
Will be released linearly over 3 years. So that's Angel, Strategic, Core Team, Foundation, and the initial security. So the delegator partners. Okay. So that's pretty long. That's decent. 30% supply will go in circulation right after that, including tokens belonging to IDO, Seed, and Series A are going to be live right away. So Seed is like 15, IDO is 7, Series A is 8%, I think. So that's the 30%. That's a little weird. I would say maybe they've been building this for a while. If it has been like close to a year and the seed they came in like very early, then that would make sense. But if it's a new project, then that's weird. I'd say overall it looks okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's not too bad. Yeah, but not very typical. So
yeah, the tokenomics were kind of a bust, but I think the technology is pretty good though. So, anyways, just had to
interesting
bit of a disclaimer on that.
Yeah, as usual, the best way is definitely to get into the IDO with their partners. Like it's going to be a good launch if you have the IDO price. Otherwise, like listing price is not going to be too profitable.
You want to go to Bitcoin dominance?
Oh yeah,
now?
let's do Bitcoin dominance.
Okay.
So what are you seeing?
I think I see what Bitcoin dominance is doing most clearly on the weekly and the daily.
This is great. I love this. Like just from what we talked about last week.
I mean, especially given that Bitcoin is pretty bullish too. We're over 46,000. I think this is going to be pretty awesome coming weeks, next few weeks, given that Bitcoin can just remain bullish. That's kind of all I'm hoping for. So we see this weekly support. I think this is kind of the biggest key thing to watch out for here. This 45.5% support here. We just had a very strong weekly close through, 5 hours till, but we just had the strong almost close through. And I think this is going to be definitely bringing in some lower lows. On this chart, there's not much to catch it for support until we're probably down into these low 40s or low 40s region. And so here. My
Maybe
bad.
if you could bring up
what?
I like to look at daily, but these are. I see where you find the levels, but for the regular people, like they don't understand candle closes as much. Like typically, when you look at weekly, it's like it doesn't look like there's much, but it's good to define the levels because market makers, they like to protect the weekly closes. So by closes, we mean like the you see the thick candles, the level where they close, discounting the wicks is really important. It's like so that's why Luca's drawn like 41.6 was the close of that previous low. So in cases where you don't have a clear level you can find, looking at the weekly, that you can find a level there. So just for that. So even though it looks like a bunch of blocks, basically on weekly, each candle is, you have to study it.
There's a lot of information in each of these candles, and they really describe a whole story if you can learn how to read them correctly. So like this candle here, it wicked down to the support, it rallied back up and then couldn't close beyond above the red trend line and then rejected after. So if you can learn how to read certain candles and how they close,
like if you look up like candle pattern, single candle patterns in TA, like not just you, but like everyone that's listening, like doji candles, hammer candles, inverted hammer, so not like these kind of between 1 and 3 candle type of patterns are best spotted on weekly, because then you have like a week's information there to decide the wick and the close. So typically more reliable. You can't really use that on a daily scale too much, or anything below daily is very negligible, because like across exchanges there's a lot of fluctuation. But on weekly, that's the best way. So like Luke just said, when we had that, Luke, if you bring up the weekly chart again, if you see like we had week of end of July, right? We had that inverted hammer, right, where we had a huge wick up, but we did not basically like closed right around the same level. Right, and that was also the top of that week from June 21st ish, right? So like wicked above that, basically that if you translate to market psychology, based on Bitcoin dominance, that's a lot of people panicked because they saw, okay, Bitcoin dominance is going up, our altcoins are going to crash, so they sold within that week. But then that week quickly reverted, and then it closed right around the same level, actually below the previous high, right? So it didn't make a higher high on the closing level. Right there, that's the previous high, the close, right? So people freaked out because within that week we were above that level, but then by the end of that week we were back below. So that's counts as a fake out, and that's why you also have that inverted hammer, and that's why inverted hammer typically is bearish, right? Meaning going to the downside. And then you see what ensued after. So anyways, just a bit of ranting. I don't study individual candles too much, but I like to look at daily a bit more. But we again pretty much have the same analysis.
I mainly like to look at candles myself. I think candles tell a pretty good story about what's happening. And even when it comes to the weekly and whatnot, it does cut out, all the info within here. But at the same time, just the wick and where it closes can paint a pretty accurate story of what's going on if you know what to look for. And I personally like.
Very cool.
This
is one way that I don't do as well. I kind of understand it, but I don't have a feel for it. If you get what I mean, like. I kind of do. Funny enough, I have a feel for kind of using indicators and whatnot, but I don't. I have a hard time trading off of it. I kind of psych myself out. It's the candles that I do best with. Nice.
Everybody has their own style, so just learn what you do best with.
Yep.
Moving on to the daily here.
Yep. It looks beautiful. That rejection there.
So I guess main thing to talk about here, we have the two strong candle closes, right? We have the rejection from the red weekly trend line, and then we have the strong close through the blue weekly trend line. Again, it wicked down to the support and then rallied back. And then as we started to get closer to support, Bitcoin dominance started to slow down, as we can tell by the candles. The closes, the bodies of the candles got smaller, and the wicks got longer. So there's a lot of indecisive, a lot of indecisiveness in the market. And then we see if we can observe this candle close here on the 12th, we closed right on the support, and then the next candle, we opened just below support, and while the candle did wick above, there was no strong close through, and then this was the beginning of the rejection from Bitcoin dominance, because there's no strong bounce or rally here. And if we blow this out a little bit more, it clears this kind of weird buffer period that we kind of have around this weekly trend line. Because this weekly trend line is not as clear cut as a lot of the dailies. It is kind of a weekly, so it could bounce down here still. But I'm anticipating lower lows. I don't think it's going to get caught on this support here. Yeah. That's just kind of me just continuing to talk for the sake of it. So yeah, on the weekly, just blowing it back out to the weekly, I think we see a very clear direction, and we see, especially with this trend line, we see a very clear rejection, and it looks like Bitcoin dominance is pretty much set to ring in a new alt season. So
we have pretty much the same charts. I have it on a daily, but I really liked how you went into the last couple of daily candle, like individual candles for August 12th and 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have a feel for that at all. I never look at it like that. I understand there's a way, but like I never spot it. So that's really cool. Like within the trend, looking at individual candles, how the trend is doing. I don't know how to do it. That was really cool.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll elaborate more on that on the weekly call. So.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Let me also share my screen on the same chart basically, and share screen here, and I'll bring okay. So this is the Bitcoin dominance on daily. We both have this trend line diagonal, right? I think this is the most important.
Yeah.
So what I see is like overall, just as last week, right? We had this exact same analysis. We had this downtrend, then a bit of rising wedge, and then typically rising wedge has continuation, or a wedge has continuation, but a rising wedge is tends to be bearish. But we still need to wait for the breakout. So it broke out, and we're waiting for the retest here, and then retest completed to the downside, right? So this rejection was awesome that we saw it. And right around here was like last 2 weeks or so on the calls, we were saying that this was the perfect time to get into altcoins because risk reward is way higher for the potential profit if this is a larger alt season and Bitcoin dominance continues to trend down. But even if it reverts, you only have a couple % here to lose. And also because of this pattern, right, rising wedge tends to break down towards the downside, and the fact that we already see a potential breakdown, just waiting for confirmation. So the chance of this getting rejected was also higher than 50% in my eyes. And really happy that that played out. I know you have this weekly trend line from kind of up here, like this. I stopped using this, but I would say it's still relevant. Probably on a weekly scale, because typically when I use a trend line, I like to see it, how it was formed, and then compare how its reaction around it. Just so I don't I know where the trend line come from, but it is somewhat accurate. Maybe it's on the log. No. So overall, we had this downtrend for a long time for Bitcoin dominance, where we had a series of lower lows. I would say there was one low here, one low here, one low here, and then here we broke down below this trend line, and now this previous support, diagonal support, acts as resistance. And it's really good that on a weekly here, we're rejecting from it. Again, it's on the weekly, so you can't be too strict and say, okay, this wick was like not through it anymore. So that's why it's kind of subjective, because you can fit this. You can fit it to the candle closest here, and then you can fit this to the wicks there, and all of a sudden this looks clean. So not as exact when trying to find a level with this kind of long-term weekly trend line, but nonetheless, it's good for confluence to see that, okay, right around here, we didn't have a couple weeks of clearly closing above. Instead, it was starting to look weak here, right? Where we had, again, this candle, these two, inverted hammer, and then a bit of wick down. So this was starting to get unsure at the very least. If this candle was like solid upwards like that, it'll be risky for potential alt season. But
yeah,
really lucky that we had something like an inverted hammer here. But particularly how I'm looking at it right now is mostly on daily. I think on a daily, it's very clean. The cleaner setup is better, right? So we had this diagonal support, right? 1, 2, 3, maybe even a fourth higher low here, right? So it was an uptrend before, so it was reverse alt season, and then we broke down from it, waiting for the retest. Now we completed the retest and we saw a rejection, so this is likely to continue down. Right now, the chances are already much higher for this to continue down than back up because we've completed the retest. Levels to watch, right? Here, right here, and then here. So if you, the three previous higher lows, so if you draw horizontals right at these percentages, you bring this up. Why does it not draw? Here we go. Okay, so in order for the downtrend on Bitcoin dominance to continue, or the alt season to continue, we need to see Bitcoin dominance get below each of these support levels, right? How that works is we're not saying necessarily that for sure it's going to stop here or stop here or stop here, or even it needs to go there. But every time that there is a level like this, should be a bit of support there, a bit of support there, a bit of support there. So what that means is on this downtrend, right? Once we had this retest, very likely that it goes here. Now, what happens here, we need to see, right? We typically, I like to employ the same strategy as trading the retest here. So when it gets to here, I start to wait, right? I watch it very carefully. If it breaks down from it clearly on a daily close standard, then on the retest, I'm able to enter more altcoins, take on more altcoin risk, because I'm expecting this to get rejected and then for us to head to the next support. Same thing here. When it gets to here, I'll watch it. If it does this, then okay, it's probably time to take some profits and wait. But if it again closes daily below, then I would, add to my altcoin positions on the retest, expect this, and then here again. And the super major alt season will happen when we have cleared the lowest low here. By that point, all of these previous levels have been cleared. So then we have the historical lows from back here, right? 40% is clear, so next stop will be like 36%. Then you just employ the same strategy. Right? You anticipate it to head to 36%. Bring back the daily. Anticipated to head to 36%. if we get below 40%, and then you wait around here, right? If it closes, more Altseason. If it doesn't, take some profits. That's kind of how I like to trade it, just one level at a time. I would say pure feeling wise, I do agree with Luke. I don't think I think the 44.6.7 around this level, I don't think that'll hold. I think Altseason is just getting started. Because what typically stops the Altseason? Well, if Bitcoin sees a major correction, then altcoins will correct as well. So for example, if Bitcoin drops from 46K right back down to 42 right now, then this would take up right away. But as long as Bitcoin just stays still or even goes up, this should continue to go down as people are confident in the market and they like risk and they like altcoins. That's why Bitcoin dominance continues to go down. So yeah, I don't think this is much to worry about. So I haven't taken any profits yet. In fact, I just added to my Doge long actually this morning.
I think you're in the green.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that. And I think next stop 41.5, and then we'll see what happens around here. Any other charts, Luke, you think is interesting?
No. I'll maybe stay on the call. Are you going to do some more technical analysis?
I was going to do, I think just ETH BTC really quick, and then Doge, and then questions.
Okay. I might jump in if I find a couple that are...
Sure. Yeah, you can jump in, or you can stay muted, up to you. Or if you want to leave the call, just, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so let me just quickly check on comments, make sure everything's running smooth. Yeah, I see some questions. We'll go through the questions in about very soon. Let's hope for like in 10 minutes. Okay, we just crossed the hour mark. Okay, here's Discord, but let's bring up first off Bitcoin. I know okay, we'll keep this short, right? So same as last week, right? I wanted to separate the calls, but I was gonna have just the only contributors present today. So Wonka will be doing his analysis. I won't be doing mine. But Wonka's not here today, so I'll do a bit of Bitcoin and altcoin analysis TA as well. So same levels as before, right? Key areas to watch: 49K, 51K. I would say that's the last bit of lows we've made, right, from back here. So reaction here, super important. I still could see a rejection from there. We don't know. If I were to bet on this, I would still say 50% chance we do this, 50% chance we break through. So in these cases, it doesn't make too much sense to like blindly take a side. Instead, wait for the reaction. So still going by that analysis. So once they get into this zone, we'll see, right? If it clearly closes above, great, bull market back on. I'll long more on the retest. If it seems weak and drops back down, great. I'll take profits and go into stables again and wait for the next move. So that's kind of Bitcoin. But at the moment, right, clearly I would say 3 higher lows made. So people are very confident in this, I would say medium uptrend already. And that's what you see in Bitcoin dominance going down. So since we are in alt season now already, the first altcoin we need to look at is ETH, right? And to analyze ETH, we need to look at ETH BTC because I repeat this every week. ETH BTC needs to go up in order for holding ETH to make sense because you're taking on more risk. So you want more reward. So you want Bitcoin to be ETH to be going up faster than Bitcoin. So same thing, same kind of analysis as before. We had the symmetrical triangle, broke out, broke actually above the previous high there, and have since consolidated right above this range. So looking really good. I would say this is, let me draw a trend line there. This here even though it's symmetrical, I would say this is a bull flag because it is most of it is above this previous high. So still expecting more upside in ETH BTC to visit 0.077, which means here is a price range from current up to here. It's about 12%. So no particular timeline, but what I'm expecting is maybe it could happen tomorrow. It could happen in a month, right? But overall, I do think ETH will outperform Bitcoin at least for another 12% or so before the next major resistance area. So looking at ETH USD, that's we can find some entry levels there and see. I had this circled out from last week. These 3 previous highs, right around 2,900, was a great entry opportunity, and you see this dip there was great. If we get USD, yeah, if we get another revisit around 2,900, even 3,000, I would say that's the chance to buy the dip. Yeah, and even if Bitcoin just stays completely still and 0% for the next month, right? And for ETH to just only go up to 12% or so in ETH BTC terms, we're looking at around 3,600, right? And if on top of that, Bitcoin can go up, what is this? 1.1, 1.2. So if Bitcoin can go up like 20% or so, then ETH could already reach all-time high. So looking bright. I would say we're back into the strategy of buying every dip. And same as how if some of my long-term followers, you remember we were buying a dip on this long-term trend. I was mostly using every time that it dipped to the 21 daily EMA. I think that would fit really well right now for the dips. So let me just bring that up. Exponential moving average on a daily 21. Thicken this a little bit. I haven't checked this before, but I think it'll fit. Yeah, so I would say any time that it touches the blue 21-week daily EMA on such an aggressive uptrend, I would say that's a buying opportunity. So you see that currently sits right at 2,900. This will continue to trend up, but every time that it touches it, probably a buying opportunity for me. Now we look at Doge. I don't know what is. It's at 32 cents. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, so not much there to say. Like, same analysis I had last week, right? When we just had this candle, right? We drew all these from last week. So we had 2 double bottoms here. We had a higher low being printed. So the first stages of a reversal is there. We had a very significant pump, typically on Doge because it's retail traded, right? Not much dips. So I just kind of bought back in right around halfway of this candle. You can check back on my TikTok and also last week's call. And then we had around 30 cents as the key resistance to watch because historically, if you look at the last pump, right? So after a huge run up, Doge forms a bottom like this, and it also forms a top of the consolidation range, which I would say around there. So once it breaks out of the horizontal resistance, it starts to go sideways, right? Respecting a top of a range, which if you can spot it here, there's about 4 tests. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 tests of this top of the consolidation. And the moment that it broke above this top of the consolidation, the first dip back down is the optimal time, because that really is when Doge starts to accelerate. So that was part of the analysis last week. We were watching 30 cents as very key to break, and we have broken it just now, just like this morning. So the next dip back down to 30 cents, optimal entry, in my opinion, timing wise. Of course, like if you would have bought the bottom, like kind of, I think this was my earliest entry, right around 24.5 cents ish. But I was adding on this way up. Like you can't really always time the bottom. Don't stress about it too much. You just want to get the better timing, because if we take off the log scale, right, we're still a ways ahead from the previous all-time high, and I don't think this would be the top if we are in a major all-season bull market. So not too much to be stressed about there. I don't think most people have missed it yet. You just have to seize the opportunity, have a plan, and seize the opportunity when it comes. And I think I've drew this since last night. Like if this happens, you see this like draws into it. So yeah, next dip back down to 30 cents. If it happens, I'm gonna add to my Doge long. That's about all of the TA I had. Again, we probably get a lot of altcoin questions and requests, right? A key thing to remember, right? You must know Bitcoin dominance chart, right? You must be able to identify at least the trend in Bitcoin dominance. Is it up or is it down? If it's up, it doesn't matter what altcoin you hold, Doge, ETH, Solana, Polkadot, Kusama, whatever. It's not going to do well. As long as it's going down, again, it also does. In this case, it doesn't matter what coin you hold. There will be individual cases based on what kind of events they have coming up, that some will go up first, other will go up next, and large caps will also go up first. Mid caps and low caps will follow. But for the most part, most altcoins will do well when Bitcoin dominance is going down. So this is the most important thing to understand, right? And that's why we spend so much time on this. But right now I'm holding ETH, Doge, Bitcoin, looking to move more into DeFi stuff, probably picking up DeFi perp index really soon, and more of the mid cap picks. So we have Axie, we have Quant, we have Olympus DAO, OHM, 3 of my picks that were outperforming the correction we had since May. So when Bitcoin dominance was kind of trending up like this, these 3 coins will actually went up. So these are strong performers, right, as their price has proved. Aside from that, let's move into questions. Let's do maybe 20 minutes of questions just to cover all of them, and then we'll do that. So jumping back to let me use this view. Okay, so with this tool, we're using StreamYard. If you post a question on Twitter or YouTube, I can actually bring up the question as the banner right here. So here, right, here's a question. Go Run, Go Hard says, first one here, thoughts on VeChain, where it can go this morning? Exactly. So I don't know, right? I haven't looked at VeChain's price chart for a long time. I don't know what their fundamentals are anymore. I know they used to do supply chain. I don't know. I haven't studied any of it for a while, but I do know that they're legit. Fundamentally, they have very long price history. They've survived most of the bear market. So very bullish on them as long as we are in a bull market and as long as Bitcoin dominance is going down. So for your question, I don't know. I don't have a target, but if you are a VeChain fan and you understand its fundamentals, I can tell you that it's a good coin. I can tell you that right now is good timing for it. I cannot give you specific price targets because I frankly don't know that coin. But again, I don't think it matters because at the current climate, current market conditions, and just simply knowing that this coin is fundamentally legit, I can tell you that it'll perform. That's the level of confidence I have based on Bitcoin dominance. So take that as a good way to analyze altcoins. Is individual altcoins don't matter as much. They matter very little, aside from their basic due diligence of them not being scams. The 90% of it is the market conditions, as indicated by Bitcoin dominance. Bacon. There's a bacon in their logo. Yes, there's a bacon in our logo. At the very top right. What do you think about Cocos? I don't know what this is. Carwell asks, when is the next B20 auction? I don't think anyone plans to trigger it. You need a large holding of B20 tokens, and you need a lot of DAI. I think it's like $15 million worth of DAI to really trigger an auction for other people to bid on the same vault. There's no particular time. Some market whales that hold a lot of people art could announce that they want to bid on B20, but I haven't heard of anything yet. Harvey Williams asked, do you think we're in a new NFT bubble, or does the current NFT crate still have some legs to run? Depends on what you're looking at. I think profile picture NFTs, just these kind of random mints, they're definitely in a bubble. Like just as last week, we had a project called Fucking Trolls. They are literally trolls, and every time they make an announcement, they say "fuck you, don't buy this." So most likely a bubble. Just a week before that, we had Ether rocks, which are literally rocks. They're selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's pretty much, it's a bubble. Like you don't need me to tell you. But for legit NFT projects, like I don't think CryptoPunks are in a bubble. I think average price going up, there will be fluctuations. Yeah, it really depends on what you're looking at. So if you understand what the fundamentally strong NFT projects are, I don't think it's in a bubble. Just because NFTs are penetrating the mainstream much faster than crypto. Like there are so many other NFT people that are not crypto people. We haven't seen that for any other crypto/blockchain use cases yet. So that alone is very interesting. So yeah, you have to be in the right projects. Don't FOMO into profile pictures unless you're very early and you know you're very early and you have a plan to take profits and you know it's a quick flip. But that's not for most people, because even that is very saturated already. It's very manipulated. Okay. Jaya Surya asks, hi VB team, please talk about social tokens. Yeah, so social tokens and DAOs we think are the next big thing, and that's why we are building BaconDAO, right? So Bacon is a social token, much similar to your typical whale, FWB, Alex, Cherry, Karma DAO, Pleaser DAO, Squiggler DAO, all of those like social token communities where the token has not only access to a community, but also voting rights, which in BaconDAO is if you have the Bacon token, you can become a member and you can propose what kind of projects, reviews, research, courses we talk about. We have had, I think I'm probably made like close to 20 TikTok videos based on specifically posts done in our Discord. So that's pretty much the definition of a social token is you hold the token, you support the creator and the community, and you get to vote on what you want to see, right? And we have a lot more initiatives just like that. For example, the Q&A right now, we have a dedicated DAO ideas channel in the Discord where we take questions for the entire week. And once Bacon launches, those are going to be the main questions that instead of these live YouTube questions, we take it over a week. And if it's some in-depth research you want us to do, we have a very long time to present that, to study it and present it. So there's definitely a lot of value there for a social token. 313 asks, will BaconDAO have guarantee allocation? We're still kind of deciding. So right now, private sales aren't as profitable yet because the whole IDO craze was too hyped up, and then it kind of crashed way too hard. So the kind of campaigns we want to do are, like you say, more guaranteed allocations. So we want not like the ideal whitelist type style where like it's all hype promoted and then post launch, if you didn't get into the IDO, you just get dumped on forever. Instead, we want to do more existing tokens that you can get on a discount if you are actually a supporter and you understand the project and you study it and you go through some campaigns to learn about the project. So we do have one like that coming up very soon with a pretty technically strong project in the Polkadot / Kusama ecosystem, where you learn about the project, you study it, you use it a little bit, and then the project and us, we work together to check your wallet, and we give you discounted tokens, or just like straight up airdropped a decent amount of tokens for it to be very worth it. We think those are the type of campaigns that actually reward people, and the projects get real users from it as well, instead of just like influencers, VCs coordinating on pumps and very small select whitelisted group get into the sale, and the VCs altogether dump on the public, which is, I mean, we all know that model already. So yeah. So here's a really good question, and this is one that the Discord actually had a lot of requests for me to talk about. So can you elaborate using Ohm or Olympus DAO as collateral to buy 2x ETH, USD, whatever? So I posted this thread on Twitter, not a thread, but just a tweet 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday. So let me just go on Twitter. Okay, so I don't want to compose a new one, but let me go on profile. This is very dark. Let me turn on some lights. Okay, so I posted right around here, right? So the tweet was, you can buy and stake Ohm. You can take out a USD loan from Rari Capital with your staked Ohm as collateral. And so you take a USD loan and then you buy ETH. And then if the price of ETH and Ohm seems to be inversely correlated, then you essentially have a hedged position in Olympus where the price fluctuation doesn't matter anymore and you just earn free yield. I don't think, no, it's not as simple like that. But this is, it's very advanced, but let me just explain, right? I think we'll take some good time to cover this because I think there's a lot of opportunity for this. So first off, what is Olympus DAO? So Olympus DAO is this project where it's a rebasing token that's backed by DAI 1-to-1, but currently it's an expansion period where you are able to enter into what they call bonds. So you are able to buy OHM with DAI or other stablecoins and get a discount from it. And that DAI goes directly into the treasury. And in turn, that treasury is able to pay out all existing staked Olympus or SOHM holders with rebase rewards that currently accounts for 18,000%. Sounds very good to be true, right? But it has been working this way since late March, I think is when they launched. So it's about 5 months now, almost 5 months. So let me just show you the project. Olympus DAO finance/stake here. So here it is. right? So it's very simple. You connect your wallet. You can bond, which is one way you can get Ohm, or you can just buy it from Uniswap or SushiSwap. But if you bond, it gets released to you over 7-day period, and you get a bit of discount. I need to collect my wallet here. I think that's very laggy. Wow, it's super laggy. Okay, doesn't even want me to. Oh, I think it's popped up. Here we go. Okay. Connect. Here. Okay, so here's the stats. So once you have any Ohm, you can stake an amount, say 1 Ohm here, and it gives you a staked Ohm. And the staked Ohm earns you 18,000% APY. Now, this APY is not based on price per se. It's actually based on how much extra Ohm you get from rebase rewards, and it compounds 3 times a day. And that's why this is APY, not APR. The APR is more like 370%-ish. So not that high. But because it auto compounds, this is very high. Now, people typically get into this because of this high APY specifically. They want to earn this, right? They treat it as a stable coin, so they wish that the price doesn't fluctuate, and they constantly just earn this APY. However, it is not so stable because it is a public trading coin, right? So there are times where it goes down in price. Now, one way that you could potentially offset this fluctuation is by, for example, think of it like this. If you are able to buy Ohm, 100 Ohm and stake it, and then on some other market, you're able to short 100 Ohm, so then effectively you're completely hedged, right? Like it goes up $1, it goes down $1, it doesn't matter. Because on one side, you make $1 worth, $100 worth. On one side, you lose $100. So your portfolio is always balanced and you just earn pure APY. Now, unfortunately, there's no place where you can short Ohm yet, the price of Ohm. However, there is a way where you can lend out your Ohm, use your Ohm as collateral and borrow stable coins against it. And that's through Rari Capital. So Rari Capital is a very legit DeFi protocol, very, very similar to Compound, Aave, etc. But it allows you to create lending and borrowing pools against like any pool of assets. So on here, it'll take some time to load. You can go on the Views tab. I have to connect my wallet again. And you see these guys have $130 billion locked up already. So it's a very legit project. So yeah, the risk of using this is not that high if you know what you're doing. So the pool I use is this Tetranos Locker pool. So you see this currently has $33 million supplied, I think. 33 million or billion, I don't remember. But here, so here you can see once you have staked as Ohm, this percentage APY here is the same as this here, right? So effectively, it's telling you that you have your staked Ohm. Even if you deposit here your stake Ohm into this pool as collateral, it still gets rebase reward. So you're still earning that 18,000% APY. But once you have deposited that as collateral, you can borrow USDC against it and only pay about 22% every year for the interest. Now, once you have this, there's something very interesting, because if you can use this USDC to short Ohm, then like that's the best case scenario, right? You just short 2x Ohm somewhere else. Here, just pure example, right? You deposit $100 worth of staked Ohm here. It has around 50% loan to value ratio, which means for the $100 you deposit as collateral, you can take out $50 as USD in USD. Let me just make sure that's okay. People are still hearing it. So say you take off $50 in USD. If there's a market somewhere where you can 2x short the price of Ohm, then effectively that would be a risk-free position, earning you 18,000% APY minus a mere 22% here, and the whatever funding rate you're paying at a short like derivatives place that you trade, which is like amazing, right? But unfortunately, there is no place to short Ohm yet. But if you look at the price performance of Ohm, you'll see that price of Ohm tends to go up whenever other altcoins don't go up. Other altcoins are going down. And inversely, price of Ohm tends to go down while other altcoins go up. And the best altcoin to track this with is ETH. So typically, the price of Ohm and ETH are inversely correlated. So if you just go back to the charts, and you compare like side by side ETH versus Ohm, they aren't always one to one, of course, but typically they are inversely correlated. So what I thought of was, and this is because people treat Ohm as a stable coin. So just like how when markets see a huge correction, stablecoins typically trade above $1 because people are fleeing to stablecoins and buying a lot of it. So there's that arbitrage, right? And Ohm just is a more extreme case of that. So this is why I thought, okay, what if we can use Ohm as collateral here, borrow USD, and then we, to offset some of the potential downside in Ohm, we can take a long position in ETH. In this case, not necessarily one-to-one correlated, but somewhat of a correlation is there where the typical price depreciation in Ohm, price drop in Ohm, will be somewhat offset by expected upside in ETH, right? And then because you can do how much leverage you can do on ETH long, you can just look at the historical performance of, let's say, Ohm. If Ohm tends to go down 10% and ETH usually goes up 5%, then you just 2x long, and then you offset that risk, and effectively earning something like 18,000% APY for much lower risk. So that's this tweet. Now, the difficult part here is to number 4. Ohm seems to track inverse of ETH price. Again, this is purely speculation, right? You still need to constantly watch it to see, is this still playing true? Currently it is, but if it's a case that sometimes like Ohm is going up and when Ohm is going down, ETH is also going down, then all of a sudden you have much higher risk, right? For example, in a huge market correction where all altcoins are going down. So have to be really careful with this, but that's a bit of a breakdown of this. And just back to my earlier point is the 3 altcoins are planning to accumulate next after large caps have mostly moved is Axie Infinity, AXS, Quant, and Olympus DAO. And specifically, I'm looking to accumulate Olympus DAO or Ohm to stake for this high yield. Not so much for the price appreciation. So that's why for this coin and basically any other rebasing coin, in order to see its performance, right, you need to look at its market cap chart instead of price. So if you go on CoinGecko for any rebasing chart, the default chart is from down here, you see rebase tokens default to market cap chart. Because the market cap chart is the real representation of how much your portfolio is worth when it's in this coin, right? Because even though price could go down, when you're getting extra rebases, so you are getting more and more coins, market cap is going up, and one coin might be worth half as much, but you got 3 times as much coins, then your portfolio still went up. You still made money. So this is the key point that you have to understand first. And that's why when you do TA on this kind of charts, you need to look at the market cap chart to do TA on. And a potential entry that I'm looking at is 2 levels, right? When market cap is right around 266 million to, let's say from 210 to 260 million, I think this range would be a good consolidation range to enter. And then, no, this is lagging, but right down here again, around 150 to 160. So this previous top here, also a good point to enter. At that point, price might be very different from what it is right now because there's always constant rebases. But this is another coin that I'm closely keeping an eye on every day for 2 conditions, right? For large caps to have mostly run their course and for these 2 potential entry points to hit. Right, when either of these happen, I'll probably enter into Olympus DAO OHM. Okay, so that's a lot. Let's look at some Discord questions, and let me just hide this. Pop back into Discord. So, TLM, I've never heard of that. So Yipster, I don't know what that is. Waterboy says, man, this new format is so much better. Yeah, I think so too. I've been trying to find a way to present like this for a while. CTM asks, is there a point you think you will exit BTC entirely? What's the reason you continue to hold while you firmly believe it will stay stagnant? More risk management. I think if you went back to the Bitcoin dominance chart we had earlier, right? Every time that it breaks below a certain support, it is a on that retest, on each retest, I will shift more of my Bitcoin holdings into altcoins. That's kind of my strategy. Is every time that Altseason confirms a new lower level where Bitcoin dominance continues to trend down, each time there's an opportunity to head into more altcoins. And each time I would convert more of my BTC into altcoins. That's kind of what it is. If you want to stay ahead, you could already be mostly in altcoins. I don't see much wrong with that. It's purely a personal preference, I would say. Like, always wanted to hold a bit of Bitcoin. So I see how it's performing. I know that there's that relatively safer asset in the crypto space that I'm holding. Yeah, kind of because I'm exposed enough in altcoins. At a point of flipping, presuming it happens, is there a risk of BTC losing its perceived value, withering away, will shift to ETH instead of presumably? I don't know if ETH will flip Bitcoin. I'm not in that camp, actually. I don't think so. But if it does happen, then yes, BTCD will turn to ETHD. Exclamation mark asks, what are you looking for as an indication to start scaling into mid caps? When so it depends on, first off, where you cut the mid caps kind of that threshold, which I think is probably between rank 500 to maybe rank 50 to 200. I would say that's the mid cap range. It's quite simple. When most things in the top 50 have gone up like 100% in over like the past 30 days, or significant amount of it have, right? And the rest are kind of shitcoins like BCH, BSV, etc. Then you know, right? There's no specific like, oh, 1 week into Altseason or one month, whatever. You just go by the flow, right? You look at, okay, like ETH has gone up 2x now, but the rank 100 coin only gone up 20%. Then great, it's time to shift some profits from ETH into that coin. Um, oh yeah, Luke, Axie update. We should do Axie update. Oh Jesus, there's so much to cover every week. So let's go on the BaconDAO Hub. Oh, Luke, you're still here.
Do you maybe want to postpone it? Or we maybe come up with something a bit more concrete.
I think so. I haven't checked on it, but I don't think we got too much comments that were on how to tweak it. So I think most of the design people are happy with. So what we're talking about right here is the Axie Infinity scholarship proposal, handled by BaconDAO. So Luke and Mr. Bamzo will be the managers to start with, and we will use the BaconDAO treasury to acquire about was it 50 ETH of about 50 ETH, so about 16k worth of 160k worth of assets required to onboard and to scale our scholars. I think so. We got 20 votes. All yes. Like we presented this, and we put a lot of thoughts into this already. So I think it's okay to move ahead. So the main thing is we need the on-chain voting for the fund to be used, which we can do right now through Snapshot. And then we need just kind of a form and the overall like how it's managed, the accounts, etc., and for people to sign up, like a more concrete deadline. So that the actual start of the program, when people can start playing, will need to be after the Bacon token launch, which is looking to be like end of this month, latest. So yeah, I think we've given it a week. I don't think there's much like concerns raised. I think people are happy with this, so we should just move ahead. I think it's a good thing. So if we can get you and Bamzo to maybe like outline the process of, let's say, assume like I am a scholar, maybe you guys are the managers, a couple people from the team can try it out, start playing and see how we get paid. And then, because I understand you already run your own scholarship, right? So I think I think that'll be quite straightforward. And then assuming end of the month, so we have about 2.5 weeks max before we start. So yeah, I think in the next couple of days we can put out the like official application just across our socials and Discord, and tell people, okay, you can join, you can apply as a scholar, and then we will probably accept people in 2 weeks in, so they can like register accounts, and then the program will start in, let's say, September 1st. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assumption.
Okay.
Also, there will be a test for, if you want to be a scholar, there will be a test on the terms of service, and pretty much this test will just go over what's a bannable offense and whatnot. So we just don't want to get our Axies banned, or our assets banned, because there will be a 40-day period where we cannot buy, sell, trade, or play with them. So it's just kind of imperative that our scholars know what's a bannable offense and what is not, so we can continue to earn more SLP. So just throwing that in there.
Okay, so then Yeah, they will need to agree to the terms of service, most likely just in the Google form, I'd assume.
Yeah, I think we'll fashion a small 5 to 10 question test or something like that.
Okay.
Yes. It should be pretty easy though. Yeah, and we'll maybe release a couple study guides too. Nothing hard, so.
Oh, I see what you mean by the test. It's like, okay, is this a bannable fence? Like, can you do this? Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, like one person can't play on more than 2 accounts and whatnot. So, yeah, we just can't get our Axies banned if we want to make money. So, yeah, there will be a small test, but nothing too hard to overcome. So,
yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's. Yeah, I say work together, but like I'm mostly just here to support. So, yeah, I think next steps would be proposal all looks good. The assets, most likely we can use it. So let's assume that 50 ETH startup with I forgot how much. I think 8 teams or 12 teams.
Yes, there'll be 8 teams to start off with, and then we'll ramp that up to about 75, I think, by the end of the month.
Yeah.
So around
like August, October 1st.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, let's start based on that. So just the application form, the tests, and to work on for next week.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. That's really good. I think people will be excited for that too. Like for everyone that don't intend to play, it's still okay. Just know that this is a really popular and actually profitable way to grow like DAO treasuries, and it fits our model of a social token community really well, because we can use the Bacon token to subsidize part of the earnings so that we can scale up faster, and it like attracts people to become members, and overall it's a good marketing play as well because people can see okay, we are knowledgeable in the Axie space as well, and we have a guild, and we could scale this up much further if it does well for our treasury, right? Yeah, so let's move back to Q&As. A bit of BaconDAO update, I guess. So last week there was a incident for DAO Maker. So I think one of their keys were compromised. So their contracts for the SHO are still fine, but it's like something that they manage keys with. Typically, that's the way that exploits happen. So they lost about $7 million. I think they do have plans to compensate people for that because they are a pretty legit project, very large. So I don't think that's too much to hurt them, but definitely a blow. So we are working with the team like a lot recently to both support them and also making sure our launch goes smooth. Luckily, we didn't do our SHO yet, so there was no deposit being done. Nobody lost any money or any bacon as part of BaconDAO sale. So that's really good. We are still looking to launch on DAO Maker. So yeah, so nothing wrong with their contracts, which was a big relief. And we still believe in them a lot. They've really helped us. So looking forward to support them. They actually do have this kind of child launchpad called Infinity Pad for their BSC side. So, and quite a few of the founders, like Pablo Keyman, Blockchain Boy, and Altcoin Sherpa, Infinity Gains, like they're big on TikTok. DAO Maker is also pretty big on TikTok. So that's why they suggested us to launch on Infinity Pad, and also because we are bridging to BSC. So both of those combined, we are exploring potentially launching on Infinity Pad as well. It's the same contract, same flow with DAO Maker, same team, same kind of marketing and support, everything, same exchange listings. So look out for that. But the benefit with that is we can have like combined TikTok marketing campaigns to talk about BaconDAO. Still exploring there. Because they are essentially the same team, we also have to wait till they are okay with the incident that happened. So yeah, but still look out for announcements. We're still aiming for end of this month. So that's a bit of BaconDAO updates. Okay, let's move back to Q&As. Just a couple last questions. So YP Stir, so how to spot alt winners is that all are winners when BTCD is down? Yes. Easy enough, yes. The main thing is actually how to spot when BTCD is in a downtrend. Once you are there, you don't need much. You just need basic understanding of crypto to know which are scams and which are legit, right? So in the top 50, I would say like I wouldn't get into Bitcoin Cash, BSV. I think Shiba Inu is kind of debatable, right? Certainly it outperforms Bitcoin Cash. Ethereum Classic also gets attacked a lot, so you have to understand what you're getting into. It's pure hype. Nobody uses network. But yeah, like you just have to make sure that you don't get showed into some scams or projects that people just dump on, like ICP, for example. Aside from that, the main thing is Bitcoin dominance. Hermelet asks, I totally missed enter back into ADA and feel dumb to enter now. Any targets for enter in general? What is up to do if you wait for entry and the price pumps? You just, if there's a foolproof way, I would love to hear it, but sometimes it just happens. So you either take the risk of chasing a pump and potentially losing more, or you just look for something else. I really don't have an opinion there. But I think currently the Altseason is just starting. So for most top altcoins, right, like you have two ways, right? If you really like ADA specifically, then I don't think ADA is at the top yet. XRP has also gone up. I don't think it's at the top yet. But there are many other coins in the top 50, top 30 that haven't pumped, right? So yeah, plenty of opportunities like Chainlink, Polkadot, Kusama, Solana, Binance Coin, Ethereum, right? Tons of good coins. So really depends on what your strategy is. Are you just only fundamentally believe in that coin? In this case, it's still a decent time to enter into ADA, even though it has gone up quite a bit. But just based on Altseason. But overall, you can also have the other strategy of, okay, all these coins are legit. These pumped, others have not yet. Maybe I'll check out the others. So really up to you. Are the BaconDAO NFTs still available? They will always be available. You can stake or buy them. They'll give you membership access post-launch. Can you unlock the voice chat to allow people to speak to you instead of typing? Unfortunately, not, because we don't know what you'll speak. Right? This is being streamed live everywhere. When we do only Discord chats, it's okay. But like, I don't know like half of the people here. So nothing against you. It's just like, we have social media accounts that we don't want like you to say some bad stuff, right? And we don't know. So it's better off. But you can always type your question. When you talk about switching BTC into altcoins on those new lows and highs, what about capital gains tax on each of those moves? Don't you worry about that? Yeah, but what can you do? You got to pay your taxes. Like, I mean, still, even if you just hold Bitcoin, right? You know, they track all your portfolio holdings. So as long as you hold on a centralized exchange, so there's kind of no difference there. You make more money, you pay more tax. Lions asks, check out Doge. How's it doing right now? Did it dump already, or are we still good? The excitement, the anticipation. Where are we at? It's actually pretty laggy still. We'll do like maybe 5 more minutes max. I know we dragged this on for a while again. Oh yeah, looks great still. It looks same old 320, right? So no 32. This is great. One thing you could also look at is Doge BTC. To know that this is an outperformer in Altseason, and it is, right? Like kind of when it flipped this top here, right around here, this was a really good thing to have flipped, because we had 3 tops here. We broken up, right? This retest here was great, that it quickly bounced. Specifically, if you were to call this is like a ascending triangle. Yeah, so there's not much there, like because it is printing. The general concept is still there, right? You're making higher lows, but in this case, it's even better because the higher lows are being like the trend is becoming stronger and stronger, right? Which is a really good thing. So this was really good to see, especially on Doge BTC, which means like, okay, not only is it going up because Bitcoin is going up, but it's also outperforming Bitcoin. It's kind of leading the Altseason. Okay, come back here. 32 cents on Binance. Yeah, love it. Adrian asked BLX chat. Yeah, so BLX chart. And also, can you hold altcoins all the way through the top end of bull run, then get out before the bear market using BLX chart following previous bull run trends? So BLX is the Brave New Coin index, right? I don't know if it's any different from just Bitcoin chart. I mean, it's just a aggregation of all exchanges like Bitcoin price. This is nothing different from Coinbase price or Binance price. So no, there's nothing special about this you can use. Back to your question, I wouldn't hold altcoins like through top of the bull run and get out of, like, at some point you need to start taking profits. Not everyone can sell at the same time. Rainbow indicator. You mean like what the hell's a rainbow indicator? Is it a Gopi? Is it EMAs? Oh, okay. I know what you mean. So you're talking about the what's it called? The I think it's like cycle charts, I think. It's just fitting top and bottoms of Bitcoin price over the past bull markets into a what's it called? Trend. Not a trend, but a ratio, yeah. So you could look at logarithmic growth curve, right? Or stock to flow model. But they are just literally taking like 10 price points and extending it. It's not guaranteed. Of course, it's a good level to start taking profits, but that doesn't mean you can take profit all at the top, right? And it doesn't mean that necessarily will be the top. So logarithmic rainbow. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought you meant. This one, logarithmic growth curve. Yeah, so just zooming into like what this tells us, which isn't necessarily going to be 100% accurate, right? But it tells us that, okay, by September 30th, we're looking at like 130K, right? Or whatever the top, right? 130, 140, 150K. So yeah, you can take profit around there. It might never reach there, in which case you would have missed the top, or it might extend to 300, 400, 500K, in which case you would have missed out another 2x. Either cases can happen. So yeah, I don't know what I can say. Like, I think it is a decent level, but we're kind of just drawing lines on the chart. Like when it's like that long term, and when it's based on pure math instead of previous price levels. So yeah, that's what I can say. But definitely important to have some pure math prediction, or purely like what you think or where you're happy with to take profits, to actually start taking profits. Even if you miss out 2x, 3x gains above that, you're okay with it. That's really important. Mr. Zesty says, can you quickly shout out the most important 3 to 4 chart indicators for BTC top and altcoins? BTC and top altcoins. Yeah, so for me, right, 90% of it is just price. It's just like if you look at my chart, I don't use any indicators. I don't even use volume. Right, I have nothing on here. There's no volume bar. There's no indicator. It's just price. So most important thing is price. That's an indicator. If you can spot lows and highs trends in price, that beats any indicator, because indicators are robotic. They're not always correct. Some you need like a lot of confluence, and yeah, they're not great. I would say if you're able to spot higher lows, lower highs, wedges versus triangles, that's most of it. Breakouts and retests, right? Candle closes. What's an actual breakout right here? And did it retest? And did the retest complete or fail? Right. That's like 80% of what I trade. But sometimes I use RSI, MACD, and stock RSI, but very, very sparingly, like once a month maybe, max. Sometimes I use exponential moving averages just to get a bit of a confirmation for the levels I believe in. For the levels I not believe in, but I see on actual price already. So like if you look at Bitcoin chart here, let's say the 200 daily EMA. Right around the 40K level. So this was the top of the range right here, right? So these two, so I would have to identify the horizontal level at 40K first, and then I look at the 200 daily EMA and say, okay, it's very close to it. So between these two levels, I can have kind of an entry zone. That's how I use it. Not too much, not rely on it purely. It's kind of to check backwards on it. We think of the alley wave trading style. I notice that is often inaccurate because it's very difficult to accurately distinguish waves and price action. It's not really about accuracy, though. It's that's the age-old question with alley wave. Is like, is it in a wave 3 or no? Is it in a wave B or wave C, right? In this current correction, or is it in a new uptrend wave A already? So I don't think it's the trading style. I think it's the it applies to that analyst and that market. I have used it. I think it was very useful. But I don't know. I don't really rely on it, and I look at it from a very long-term perspective. I don't think it's too practical for me personally to trade it and to find levels on charts with it. John asked, can you review the low, high, medium alt index charts? Yeah. So, and discuss strategy. So there's no specific strategy. I would like tell you, okay, like 1 month, 2 months in, we need move into mid caps. That really depends. So you just get a feel for it, right? So when the top coins have already gone up, like I said, you move into mid caps. When mid caps already gone up, you move into low caps. But there are a couple of indexes that you can track to see when they have gone up. They're all from FTX. So there's the alt perp. This is the top large caps index, and you see this has gone up a lot already. And then for mid caps, you have mid perp, which you see right hasn't gone up just enough yet. It's still within the below the top of the range. Where if you compare it to alt perp, right, top of the range here has already broken above. Also, you have DeFi perp, still a bit below the range. So both mid perps, so mid caps and mid cap DeFi coins are underperforming the top coins. Fits into the narrative, our analysis of money flow in crypto and Altseason flow. And then you have shit perp, which is the low caps. And you see this is also gone up, but also lagging behind. So yeah, no specific strategy to like, okay, timing, but you would know. You kind of would know, like when alt perp, like just side by side, right? Here's how I would look at it. Like if you are deciding, okay, do I move my Ethereum into a top 70 coin? When do I make that shift? You can compare like alt perp to mid perp, or even ETH to mid perp, right? And then you just kind of draw the same price levels or the same kind of overall market levels, right? The top of the consolidation here, top of the consolidation here. Once you see, if you see like, okay, alt perp start doing this, and then mid perp still kind of doing this, you would know, okay, probably it's time to take profit from some of this, move into this, right? There's no set in stone way. Like this will lead this, but when you shift, is purely just a case by case, right? That doesn't mean this will stop going up in Altseason, right? But at some point, this can go up like this too, right? So yeah, so that's about as specific as like strategy I can give. There's no plan I can come up with right now, even for myself, ahead of when these actually happen. Okay, that's about it. That's, I think, all the questions answered. No, actually, we didn't look at DAO ideas, but I think people did bring up the same questions from DAO ideas. Any update on ArcX? ArcX is kind of a low cap, fundamentally very strong. I like the project a lot, but they are low cap, so they're not going to outperform just yet. Rari Capital, SOM Alpha, we've done that. Bacon Outpix, done that. AXS, Quant, explanation on Axie Scholarship, done that. Yeah, covered everything. Awesome. Thanks for joining, everyone. What are your top high, mid, low caps right now? Yeah, top caps, what I'm holding, right? ETH, Doge. I would say everything else is all inside equally good. Chainlink, Polkadot, Kusama, Solana, Binance Coin, FTT, VET, Theta, all really good. I really, you can throw any of those at me, I would take it. So it doesn't really matter. What's the plan again for the DAO membership ended this month by the latest? Yeah, that's what we're aiming for, but really depends on DAO maker side as well. How fast they can get make sure their platform is secure again. Mid caps, those three that I just mentioned: Axie Infinity, Quant, Olympus DAO. Low caps, nothing yet. Haven't studied much. Lion says insider report tomorrow. Yeah, so we plan to have the insider reports back actually, and hopefully release the first version tomorrow. This will be a collaborative one instead of just myself. So we'll have the same kind of trade analysis, entry, take profit, targets, and medium risk picks, high risk picks. I will do most of the altcoin picks, but also I think Luke and Wonka, quite a few people from the team will be involved because now we have this team of collaboration. So that's really good. Look out for that. Yeah. How do you get your NFT? You have to have the Bacon token, and you either use it to buy, you spend Bacon to buy the NFT on a monthly basis, which is like very cheap, or you can stake a set amount and you just have it for as long as you staked. Anytime you can exit, and you would lose the NFT, but you would will get your whole entire money back. That's the two ways we've planned. So both ways support us. Both ways support a project, right? Either a little bit of money, or you support quite a bit of liquidity. Where do you buy on how to stake? That will be live once we have the announcement out. Yeah, people ask that all the time. It's pretty much already the platform, but you'll have, on our app you can buy. And I'm the main person coding that. Okay, that's it for this week. Thanks everyone for joining. Hopefully this week's call has been really helpful. This call style and the StreamYard software has been super helpful to me. At least we can, next week we can have the same contributors on. They can present. Wang can show his charts whenever he wants, and then each person can present. We have this, especially this talking head style, this right here. This is really important. Like I could not find that anywhere else. So it just seemed like always I was talking, the only one, and then other people are just like random voices pop up, which is super weird. But finally we figured it out. Hope you liked it. This will be recorded on YouTube. Check it out. I'll try to make a summary, but I always try. It's just not enough time. Maybe we can get one of the members of the community to do it on a weekly basis and be rewarded Bacon token, because I think a text form would be really good. Just an idea. Maybe we'll have contributor do it first. Anyways, see you guys next week. And also Wednesday I'll go live again, and then Sunday I'll go live again. Cool. Stay safe out there and have fun in Altseason. Let's all make some money. Bye guys.